Okay, let's try this again. I think that we are good. I think that we are live and our mics are working perfectly this time. JD just scooted in, as I told you before. He had to be out this morning. He has a proctology appointment. He's going to have a lobotomy this morning.
That's a difficult one.
Well, some people would think that those two things don't go together, but I beg to differ.
When
I,
we're
I
talking
just,
about
I
JD,
do. Yeah,
anything is
yeah.
possible.
Oh, he's outside giving us the thumbs up. So, he
Hey,
better hurry
baby.
up
Oh, don't.
and he better
Oh.
get to his appointment. I don't even believe he's doing this
He's
stuff
trying to
up
show us
here.
some lobotomy stuff.
So, anyways, good Wednesday morning. It's sunny, beautiful, bright. So we gotta love that.
I'm in.
Me too. The And when we drove down Main Street this morning, the art splash is up, and I just love that. I'm super excited about that. I've gone up and down a couple of times, and I can't decide. Already, I'm going, oh my gosh, there are so many of them that I really love. And so it's going to be super tough to figure that out.
I stopped by the pig this morning.
Which one?
So the pig that was in front of the Majestic,
Oh, yes.
I was going over to Kitty Corner, and there, across from Kitty Corner, they have this pig. And I did a little bit of Facebook Live on my political page, kind of promoting the art splash because of the way that the Barry Rotary Club is in our community.
It's freaking amazing. I mean, it just looks awesome.
I drove by last night after all of the events, and it was really nice to see things shining and to see things beautiful, and really to see the things come out there without having any big splash. For an art show, for to be an art splash, it was just put out there. Boom! Here's your splash. There was no splash. That was like a big boulder going into the lake. Like boom!
Yeah, I mean, it was. It looks awesome. I'm just so super excited about it, and good to have them here. And I love that they started to do this, and it will be here throughout the summer. So we're super fortunate to have that right here on Main Street. And thank you to Carl and all the people in the Rotary and all the people that volunteered to set it up. And um, I really should have come down last night and gone live while they were setting it up, but then it wouldn't have been such a surprise this morning.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't know they were setting it
um,
up last night.
well, and maybe they did that purposely. Maybe they didn't tell us, purposely so that we wouldn't do such a thing because they know that we're all about that stuff. I mean, if you're not doing it, I'm doing it. Michael Booten's doing it. One of us is going live with something. So, anyway, super awesome to see that this morning. And then I do have to mention that today is the final session of the 6 week um, round of Wellness Wednesday at
Over
Washington
on
County
Summer Street, right?
Mental Health Snoozling Room. That is 23 Summer Street. And the number there is 802-479-4055. We just posted the link for that this morning. Uh, the ear acupuncture and the mindful meditation both are walk ins, but everything else, massage and some of the other services they offer, do need a reservation. So if you would like to get in there, if there's anything left, those fill up super fast. Reiki and massage, call 802-479-4055 and see if there's any spots left for you. Um, a great service that they provide. It is free to the public, but it's not free. All of it's done by donation and all the grant funding and the money that they get throughout the year. So it's super important that they're able to do that for the community, but it's also super important that when they ask for help,
Yep.
that they're getting in, so
Sure.
that those things can continue. We love
Those
them.
kind of services are so helpful. As somebody who has really been looking into the cutting edge stuff with trauma therapy and health and mindfulness, um, the ways that your body reacts and responds to things, it really dictates a lot of the ways that things are. So being mindful of your body and having things like acupuncture. Ear acupuncture is phenomenal because I believe there are like 5 different points in your ear that release different pressures and different sensations. There's stress and different hormonal. They release chemicals, and this is something that my therapist actually works with. So it's just phenomenal to see these things within the community and for free. I mean, I have to go to my therapist to get ear acupuncture done, and it's really it de-stresses you. It takes away the toxicity that life brings to our bodies that we don't really think about or understand. But we're constantly in a world where we're exposed to all these toxicity things. Life is toxic. So if we're not getting rid of those toxic things in our body, then they just store up.
I actually used acupuncture. Oh gosh, it probably 10 years ago now, but it was when I was dealing with carpal tunnel, and it made an amazing difference actually, and it prolonged the inevitable, which was eventually surgery.
Right.
But I was happy to get through a good period of time with a lot of relief, and I was super shocked and surprised by it. So many people had been telling me to try it, and I had not, and so I was super happy with the results, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone.
I would recommend that people just be open-minded in the ways that they treat their body and be mindful of how we treat our bodies.
Yes.
Because our bodies react and respond to the situations in life.
Exactly. So yesterday you had an interesting and very busy day. We had the revote, the school budget revote, that was over at the labor hall, and you guys experienced a little hiccup over there with a fire drill.
We did.
It was a little bit of water troubles or something. What was it called?
Something about the pressure system. I don't know. There was an event between City Hall, Capstone, Community Action on Gable Place, and then also the Labor Social Hall, where I guess...
Of course.
Yeah. You know, the 3 biggest places in the city that offer services, right? Especially during an election.
Yeah. Why? So why not, you know? Now, why wasn't it held up at the auditorium? What is going on up there?
So there's a municipalities event going on. Big trucks and construction vehicles. Just a huge
So not
event.
open to the public, or is it for municipalities only to
I'm not
kind of
sure,
join in?
but I bet if you were to straggle on up there, they wouldn't say no. Because they have a lot of equipment out there that you can look at and
I mean, the kids would be going crazy. So maybe
I'm
that's
not
why
sure
they didn't
it's
advertise
a
it.
kid-friendly event.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't advertise it so much, because they knew that might happen.
Yeah. But
So
it is
maybe
something
it's
that
just,
happens every year.
Yeah.
It's
Does it always come here?
It does.
Oh.
So Barry hosts this event.
Wow.
And it's area municipalities and other
Checking out new equipment and stuff, I
Yep.
assume.
So it brings in a lot of commerce into the community.
Nice.
And that was why we weren't able to use the social hall yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the job got done.
It did.
And the budget passed.
It did.
And so now on forward to whatever comes next. And hopefully what comes next is a great next school year, full staffed, new books maybe,
Yeah.
some meetings that will help spend budgeted money wiser, and hopefully we get some great results with a new budget.
I think that it would be important to create some type of committee And I hate to add extra work to people, but to have an oversight committee of the budget that really understands line by line what's going on. Running any business, and the school is a business, regardless of how we want to look at it.
Oh, of
Yes, it's
course.
education, but it's a business. So we need to know the business aspect of what's going on with the funding. Where is the funding being allocated? How is the funding being allocated? And where are the variances? People complained a lot about textbooks, ratty textbooks, and things not being done or fixed. But there are surplus monies from those categories. And you know what? Let's move on from that.
Right.
Because to me, you can't fix something that's already happened. What we can
Let's
do,
work
well,
together to
yeah.
figure it out and
Yep.
make sure that it gets spent wisely and used properly and where it needs to be. And
Holding people accountable to what's going on. And I think to also have some community participation in that committee would be really helpful, because yes, we have elected officials to do the work, but I think that to give the community a voice and a say into what's going on kind of changes the light, because we've seen a very politically divided school board. Between the last election, the school board that was before the election, the school board that's currently on the election, after the school board election, we see different political majorities. And that really doesn't bode well for the public, because then the
and
public...
not for our kids either.
Yeah.
The divisiveness in the city in the last 3 years, 4 years has been pretty extreme, like nothing I have ever seen actually. And it's super sad and frustrating, and I don't know how to walk that back at all, but I just feel like we need to. And people say COVID, and I understand the whole COVID thing, and that we were all kind of absent in life for a little while about a lot of things.
Sure.
But I don't know if it's as much about COVID as it is.
I think it's about the stresses in life.
Yes.
And the ways that people deal with the stresses in life.
Yes, and the difference in opinions and people. I mean, we have a lot of newcomers.
Yeah.
Which that came during COVID,
Sure.
that bought homes here, that have come, and we welcome them. We absolutely welcome them. We love that they came, but we all have to find a way to work together and
Right.
not, the people that are here aren't going to change overnight, but I don't think that we're all so absent that we can't learn or try new things or just take a breath for a minute and not try to beat our senses into each other so hard and quickly. There's got to be a medium.
Somebody said to me this morning, sent me a message that really kind of hit home. And it talked about really that, united we stand and divided we fall. And what we are constantly seeing, and we saw this yesterday at the press conference that I was at, and we'll talk
Yes.
a little bit about that later.
Yes, please.
But divided, we're falling. We as a society and as a community have become so divided that you either are on one side or the other, or you don't say anything at all, because you're just like, well, does it matter?
And it does matter. That's the thing, is that it absolutely does matter. And I feel like we have a lot of people that kind of step backwards
Yep.
because they say, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I was speaking with somebody last night who was asking questions about the school board, the approval. This was after it all had gotten approved. Nobody was asking prior to voting. But she was asking questions, and she said, okay, I haven't voted in years. I stopped voting like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I will make sure that I register and vote in March. Wow. And
I was one of those people.
that's really, that's bad. That's too bad. I hope that we get back to a space where the people that have stepped back are willing to step back on, step forward, step up, do what we need to do to get some things figured out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with engaging the community, engaging the people, knowing what the people think and feel, knowing that if someone reaches out to you, that you're willing to reach back to them. I met with
Rosemary says there was 842 city voters.
yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
wonderful.
eight. No, that's
right?
wonderful. That's disgusting.
No, but compared to
Oh.
what we've seen,
No, not even. So I think we had about 1,200 or 1,400 thereabouts. Maybe
I thought we
no
had less
more than
that.
2,000 at the last March election. We haven't had more than 2,000 or so votes in a while. We have
Yeah, then
20% of our
See,
community.
for some reason, I thought that was a good number compared to what we've seen lately.
That's horrible. The turnout yesterday was disgusting. To me, as an elected official, that's not democracy.
No, and we have, 4,000
I think Carol said 6,000 registered voters.
registered.
So, I mean, you're talking 6,000 people that could have filled out an absentee ballot, dropped it into the box.
Right, because it's super easy now.
oh my
it's
goodness.
super easy.
You can go
get any
into the
easier.
town clerk's office and vote. I mean, Vermont has made elections so easy to vote.
Yep, get it in the mail it back out. You don't even have to leave your home.
You don't have to put a
vote.
stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's already, everything is done for you. All you have to do is vote.
So we need to somehow find a way to rally together and get these people that are not voting to vote again.
Here's my question for you. So we've seen a lot from the Democratic Party in Barrie. We have seen very little from the Republican Party. But what we haven't seen at all is a get out to vote. We haven't seen a come together and let's get people to come out and vote. I mean, we've kind of rallied our troops per se,
Right.
and I'll be the first to admit, yes, I identify as a conservative. I'm not. I don't identify as a Democrat or a progressive. I'm not in that camp, but we need to all work together in order to promote democracy.
Right.
Because I don't care what party you are. I don't even care if you're going to vote for me. I just want you to come out and express your right to vote.
And again, it's super easy. There's no excuse anymore. I was working, I was this, I was that. There's no excuse. You absolutely can vote. Your vote counts and your voice can be heard. And so do it. And we got to find a way to get people out, no matter where they stand.
Right.
People need to start coming out and speaking up.
Yeah. When I grew up in Winooski, the city or the school budget had a couple of votes where it passed or failed by 1 or 2 votes. That's phenomenal. To have a budget that close where your vote really matters. And on the local level, to me, that's where it matters the most, where you have the most impact on your vote. Because when we're talking national politics, your vote is a drop in the bucket. It is a teardrop in Lake Champlain. But when we're talking about voting in an election where you had 800 people come out and vote yesterday, I mean, it's not easy. It's not hard to do the math and figure out how much impact you have on a
And that
local
was
election.
total ballots. That wasn't how many people came out. That was literally
Total ballots,
absentee, everything.
And I think
Yeah.
we had 400 or 500 requested absentee ballots. I worked 2 shifts at the election yesterday, and to have 800 ballots in total, we were out of there. I think about 8:15 or so. Hand counting ballots.
hand counting.
Hand counting.
Yeah. 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 So,
We need to get people to come out and vote.
yeah.
There needs to be.
We definitely need to work on that. And I don't know how that's going to work, but
I
we
do.
need to do it.
Hi.
Door knocking.
That's my plan.
Yeah. Door
I mean,
knocking.
really, talking to people,
Maybe
engaging
host some
people.
events.
Well, we are actually. So I'll pump the ward barbecues that we're having for the cities.
Yes.
June. I'm trying to pull this out of my head here. 24th, I believe.
Oh, I thought that day didn't work. They changed their mind now? Back,
I
forth,
might be
up,
putting
down,
my
all
foot in my
around.
mouth.
Michael must not be listening because he isn't commenting and telling
Counselor
us.
Booten
Or
is
he's
not.
on YouTube.
So we're all
and I
doing our
can't
different
see any of that.
barbecues. So we're all not going to have them on the same time and day, I guess. We're all going to figure them out between
Individually, which is
wards.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have them all on the same day or not.
Yeah. So I don't know how we're going to get it organized.
The only thing I know or care is that Michael's going to cook on his Traeger.
Oh, yeah. I carried that thing up the stairs with him.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
It is.
Very
well,
heavy.
what the hell were you doing carrying it upstairs?
I don't know. He wanted it up the stairs.
Oh, my gosh. That Michael, he's something else.
I love that guy.
But, so anyways, we have some work to do, which we all know.
Yeah.
That we do. And now he says he's not cooking on the Traeger. Whatever. Michael.
That's good. We don't even want your Traeger, bruh.
Yeah. You keep your smoke.
I'll bring my grill.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We're not even in the same ward. Oh. We'll have a better barbecue than him.
Yeah.
In Ward 3. We'll have competing.
Gosh. Now those are fighting words.
Yep.
You're asking for trouble now. So anyway, so yesterday you had a super busy day. We've gone over the election here, talked about how it's not really all that great. Well, not.
No, it's good news for for what.
No, I
mean
not really great. The turnout. The turnout
the,
is not great. For some reason, I thought that was still more than what they got last time when there was revotes. Because people just stop going when it's a revote.
Right.
I thought that was a decent number for a revote.
I don't know about the revote numbers.
Right.
I haven't been involved in, like I said,
in the past.
I really just started kind of voting again recently, within the last 4 or 5 years, after knowing the impact more so of my vote.
Yeah,
locally.
And I'm sure I'm wrong. I just, for some reason, I thought that was when people, when it comes to revoting, people aren't always they're not good about doing it anyways. But yeah.
I don't know.
So anyways, then you also went to Montpelier.
I did.
And participated in they're calling it a press conference, but was it a press conference totally, or I guess I don't really understand.
So it was a
either.
combination
what happened
event.
Yesterday.
So
it wasn't totally just for that purpose, a press conference, correct?
Correct. It was also to put a lot of stakeholders in the same room in order to get some ideas together on how we can help this mass exodus from the hotel program. Now, there's been a lot of miscommunication, in my words, of what's been going on in the hotels and how we're going to end this. We all know that this was going to end, but how are we going to transition these people into places that are sustainable?
And why are we trying to figure it out right now? Why haven't we been trying to figure it out for, let's say, a year now? I believe it was Rosemary Averill who actually I've heard, I can't tell you how many times saying, but what is the long term? What is the long term? What is the long term? And she's been saying that for months and months and months and months. And so it's crazy to me that just now, because it's going to end, this is happening.
Right.
So isn't that kind of a little too late? I mean, it's not, hopefully, but then I just feel like then you're shuffling, trying to figure something out. And the something else is half-assed.
Yep.
Just like, so do we keep up with half-assed, or do we take a breath, know that it's summertime, things could be super worse, and try to make sure that the big impact happens before winter.
Yeah. So proper planning could have prevented a lot of this. To me, one of the biggest issues that I see, especially after the press conference yesterday, is lack of communication between the state and I'll say the state in general, because there's a lot of different departments between AHS, DCF, all of these different agencies that have been providing services to the people in the hotel, as well as obviously the people that are signing the checks. I mean, yesterday we talked about not knowing how many people are actually in the hotels. That's a problem. To not know what their needs are, that's a problem. We've had a lot of these individuals in these situations for years at this point. And then to just kind of throw them out onto the street in a graduated rate where in the 1st of June, people are going to be removed. Then the 1st of July, and then from there on, depending on your level of need. So I don't know what the solution is. And I think that a lot of people don't know what the solution is. But I think one of the important parts was that we were able to get some people together in the same room to start the conversation. And sadly, things have been too reactive instead of proactive. To me, I worked for the Salvation Army during COVID, right before COVID hit and during COVID, and I saw some of this stuff, and some people were really concerned about the checkbacks. What are we doing to make sure that we're not having a long-term situation? And nobody really knew because, we've never done this. We've never had this situation before. We also had a number of people that we didn't even know were homeless. And then also you have the people that want nothing to do with being in a hotel.
Right. Right.
So
and we can't you can't force those people to do that either. That's the thing. They're choosing this life, and that's just something that some people do, and you can't force them to come inside.
Right.
You can always just offer them assistance and see what happens. Rosemary makes a good point and says, I'm afraid the Democrats almost always have temporary solutions, even with our winter warming center temporary fixes.
I'm not going to disagree with her because she's right. I mean, we put these programs into place, but then we don't have any benchmarks for people to meet in order to be self-sustainable. So somebody told me a couple months ago, Mike Titus actually, somebody I actually admire and look up to. He said, you give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he's going to eat for his lifetime. So to me, what we've done is that we've given people a lot of fish, but we haven't given them the tools in order to fish. So what are we doing?
And tools are going to cost money. We all know that tools are going to cost money, but it can't possibly cost any more than the money that's getting shelled out right now, which is huge amounts. When I read some of the dollar amounts that the hotels are getting per person per month,
I've heard $6,000 a month per person.
I was shocked. That's robbery. That is absolute robbery of the system, of just everything. I can't even. That's not. They're not getting fed. They're not. I mean, it just makes no sense.
Right. That's just disgusting. A basic roof over their head, and that doesn't include the thing. And I've had to
hot water,
address some
electricity,
code
and
violation
Wi-Fi
issues.
Right.
That some constituents have raised concerns about because some of these motels haven't been kept up.
Right.
So.
And why not with that kind of money?
I hate to say that sometimes some people are greedy. Capitalism, to a degree, creates greed as well. And sometimes money is more important to people than anything else.
Yeah.
Not to me, not to you.
No.
But that's really.
It helps, but it doesn't make everything better.
Right.
Sometimes it can actually make it worse, and which we're seeing. I think
Yeah.
that the money, the amount of money thrown at a temporary situation, has only made things worse because now um, people have become super dependent on it,
Yep.
and it's going to go away. And there's no, and now weeks before everybody's going, oh my God, what are we going to do? Well, this is not a surprise. Like,
No.
where the hell was your head?
And
Maybe
I've had
they
some
need to go to the
conversations
proctologist with
with some
JD.
representatives. I was on the phone with Representative Galfetti this morning as well because, everybody wants to come up with a solution. And realistically, this is something a transition plan should have been put into place 6 months ago.
Or a
When it
year.
was or
Yeah.
a year.
They knew the money was going to end.
Right.
Everybody knew.
So there's some lapse in communications and what's expected between the state and the municipality levels.
So
And that was the point of yesterday.
Right. So municipalities, what does the mayor of Berry City think? Did he weigh in at all?
He did.
What are his thoughts? Can you express some of those? I mean, I know you can't speak for him, but and he's welcome to come talk to me and join me on a mic anytime and tell me in his own words if he would like to. But maybe you could just give us a brief little thoughts of what our city government felt about it.
Our city government feels that this is an emergency crisis situation. And our city government also is outraged by the lack of continued funding that is not going to be put there. The program just being cut like that.
But it's not being just cut like that.
I don't disagree with you.
Like, holy
but that
shit.
is the level in which the municipalities feel, is that they've been blindsided by this this legislation, shall we call it? Because I think that a lot of people expected the legislature to put money into this and to continue fueling this program. I believe that there's some progressive Democrats in the House that are withholding the budget unless the governor puts into the budget, I think it's $20 million or something for this
to
housing.
continue this. So we continue it in the hotels until that money's gone.
So essentially,
Then what?
He said that we're in a really tough situation. That right now we don't have very, very concrete answers. But we want to get as many stakeholders to the table as possible.
Right.
To come up with some solutions.
And we probably shouldn't have been figuring it out 20 days before.
Yeah, I mean,
what a time to have a press conference.
We do have, some committees in the city that work on homelessness. There are a magnitude of organizations that saw this coming, and I feel like this press conference to me was a cry for help to say, whoa, we don't know what the hell we're doing. What do we do?
Well, yeah. Did JD actually just did a show with Rick?
Yes.
From the Good Sams and Heather last week in regards to all of this, and
Rick was there yesterday.
Yeah, and what's happening, and so it just, yeah.
Some of the things that concern me about the Exodus, and I say this from someone who's studying to become a trauma therapist, is that you have all of these individuals, and a lot of these individuals have some severe needs. So you kick these individuals out of where they're staying, and then the service providers are going to have to either go to them, which could be in the middle of nowhere, and that's not really safe.
No.
Or the person has to go to the service provider, and then, well, are they going to really get their services that they need? And we as a society need to help people become better. I mean, that's how we become better as a society. When we reach our hand out and say, hey, I'm here to help you. How can I help you?
Right.
And
And then, some people will look at it as how much more can we reach our hand out? I mean, if you're reaching your hand out to the tune of $6,000 per room per month,
right,
and you've been doing this for 3 years, um, I have to believe that there's a little part of some people that is saying, okay, what the hell have you been doing to help yourself during this time? Have
right,
you banked any of the money that you've been given? Are you, what have you done to? We've given you this
yep,
help, and what have you done to help yourself?
right.
And I mean, I'm not an asshole. I don't want to see anybody suffering out on the streets. I don't want to see anybody um freezing to death or overheated, or I don't want to see any of those things either. But I look at it the same way that I look at addiction,
Right.
and everything that I've gone through with my son. And I can't help him.
Right.
No,
For me
you
as an
can't help
addict, the only way
him.
that I could have gotten clean was for me to want to get help.
Right. And so I look at it the same way. I'm not somebody that I lack sympathy or empathy. I
Right.
have those things, but I also have to stand a little bit hard and fast in the respect that I have to say when is enough, and
Right.
when can the crutches be put down,
Yep.
and you decide that, okay, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to move myself forward.
I think to
And
some people, it's taking those crutches away so that they have to understand that there are consequences for your actions.
yes.
That if you sit in a hotel room and you smoke crack and are involved in bad behavior, well, then there are consequences for
And
that.
we know that there are some. We know that there are some in the motels that were staying. It was a temporary. They have moved on.
Yep.
They've gotten their apartments. We know that there were some that have stayed in hotels that have saved their money, and they were working, and they were. It wasn't that they weren't going to work every day. They weren't
Right.
trying. It's literally that the cost of living and things are super hard, and at least they were trying. But then we also know that there are many that were not.
Sure.
And so
But then you also have the individuals
so
who
I
are
want to,
trying.
the people that are trying,
Yep.
by all means, they should come first when it comes to June 1st, and we're going to try to make sure that we're moving this along a little bit.
Yep.
And again, it has nothing to do. I'm sure I'm going to get holy hell. People are going to be coming at me full force, but I have sympathy. I have empathy. I do have compassion for people, but I also, over the years, dealing with my son and
Yep.
other people in addiction, have gotten a little hard on that and said, none of us can fix it for you.
Right.
Nobody could fix the shit that I did in my life either. I had to decide that I was going to do it myself.
Right.
And so I don't know what we're going to do, but it's a little bit, not a little bit, it's a lot of bit frightening of what's going to happen, what we promote here, what we try to do here, what we try to do for um, businesses and the city and the reputation that we want to maintain
Yep.
and bring here. And our reputation isn't that we want homeless throughout the city, and for people to think that we're poor and we don't take care of our people, and that things are dirty and bad, and that isn't what we're looking for. So
But as a
this is like a
municipality,
huge problem. Not just, it literally boils down to not just people being homeless. It's a reflection as well, in my
Sure.
mind.
And you're not wrong. I mean, if you see people sleeping in the empty storefronts, the walkways there, you're gonna look twice and say, "Whoa."
Right.
I mean, an empty storefront's one thing, but when you see people sleeping there, or you
Right.
see them sleeping on a bus stop because they need shelter. Those are some serious issues.
Yes.
I think sadly, the game plan seems to be that they're going to let it fly, and kind of see what sticks, what doesn't stick. That the overall aura, shall we say, was that the situation kind of needs to fix itself. That they don't know how many people that they're going to make an effort to figure out who's in the hotels, what their needs are, how they can be placed, if they can be placed, any of those types of things. But kind of the plan at this point is to kick them out, and which was another interesting conversation. Who's going to remove them? Berlin police said that they're not going to forcibly
I don't blame
remove
them.
people.
I would not either. Berlin police, all of our police departments have already been taxed enough in when it comes to dealing with all of these situations and the situations it has brought to the communities. The police, it's not their responsibility. I'm sorry.
You know who this would fall
it's,
on?
It's an
The
emergency.
sheriff's department.
And
They would
even
have to
that-
serve the evictions.
Yeah, and even that, it's like, damn, that's an awful lot to ask of people that are already stretched super thin,
Yep.
super unsupported any other time. I
Yep.
mean, come on. I don't know. I don't feel that way about the police department, but I know that a lot of people do.
Sure.
And yeah, no. Just another no.
So it's a wait and see right now. There are
Terrible.
some
That's
people that are going to be meeting with AHS tomorrow, I believe. It's either Thursday or Friday. They're going to be meeting with department head from the new director of Agency Human Services to see what can be worked on. And that's going to be a multiple municipality event, because we need to get as many stakeholders involved as possible, because we know that camping in the cow pasture, not going to happen.
I sure hope not.
I mean, let's just think. Well, let's be honest. Booten, I love you. If you're watching, you're probably going to hate me for this because you were pissy with me last night. You said, let's open up the odd. Well, we can't open up the odd because, number one, we don't have the staffing for
Well,
it.
and number two, we don't want it to look like what the hotels look like right now.
Right. And then you think about
It's just another Band-Aid.
Right. And we're not looking to create Band-Aids. We are in an emergency. And we talked yesterday
I
at the
agree.
press conference about, why haven't the cities declared a state of emergency? Well, it's just political at that point. It wouldn't do anything. The National Guard wouldn't be called in or anything like that. The governor would have to call the state of emergency for any actual thing to be done.
And it shouldn't be a freaking emergency because we shouldn't be dealing with it now.
Right.
It should have been being dealt with. It's the whole thing is just absolute lunacy to me. Again, shoot me.
Yeah,
Shoot me
I
now.
just can't understand it that we've had a program in place for this many years, but no transition plan.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, what would be the transition plan during this if someone wanted to leave? Wouldn't they kind of force, and I don't want to say force, but force this transition plan on these other people while they're forcing them out? We have a transition plan that we've already established with clients
This is
who are
what we're
already
gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do. But we weren't even able to hear about that.
We have a couple of comments. Do you have a few more minutes?
I got plenty of time.
So, Vermont, Linda Kuchar says Vermont needs to make it not so easy to get benefits here. Go out and talk to some of these people, and they'll tell you why they're here because it's easy. And then Rosemary says legislature voted no work requirements for benefits. Now that is
Yeah.
something that is, I mean, we've talked about that for many years. That's always been a case here, and even I've said numerous times that when we start talking about giving something as simple as well, it seems simple, but to me, it's a gift. But giving the cell phones, and they get their cell phones and they get their minutes and whatever once a month. For me, when you before you do that, before you're allowed to do that, then you need to go up, pick up a green up bag or a bag, fill it with trash, and when you bring it back, you can get your minutes that month or something. You need to be able to do something for this community.
So the cell phone plan is a federal lifeline program.
So
But
that
it benefits to, for people to have to work for their benefits. I think it's important.
yeah,
It talks
there's all
about
kinds
that
of things in
feeding.
this city that need to be done that are an expense for the city, and so that cause staffing issues, sweeping, picking up trash, working in the gardens, working on a crew for the day, helping do anything,
Right.
direct traffic. I don't care. You don't have to be. And that's not, and I'm not saying that in a bad way either. I'm not saying, but do something.
I don't
Just do
disagree with
something.
you.
If you can't get a job, if you don't feel you're employable somewhere else, you need to at least do something to help the community service.
So
I don't
having personal
what it is.
experience, being on a Reach Up grant a couple years ago, we haven't been on Reach Up in some time, but there were some work requirements when we were on Reach Up. We had to either I think it was work 20 hours a week, which is minimal. I mean, it's part time, but they're also expecting you to do things in a family plan. For me, for example, I was going to school, working on my behavioral science degree. So that counted, as well as working at the Salvation Army. And then the COVID hit, and they changed all of the work requirements. They didn't make anyone go out and work. To me, that's a problem. When you
huge.
have people that are receiving benefits and that are employable, there's no reason for them not to go out and work 20 hours a week. I mean, if we were to think about all of the open positions within our communities that need people right now, but then you talk about the benefits cliff, and that's a different subject. But, when you make $15 an hour and you work 20 hours a week, then you're cut off on your benefits. So there's a lot of political games, and I will say political games, because that was really one of the reasons I ran for state representative last year, was because I feel like there's a lot of political games going on. We talk about now, there's no work requirement for Reach Up, or for those benefits, and if we were able to employ people, give them that opportunity, we're teaching them how to fish. We're giving them the tools. Now, I know when I was with Reach Up, they had different programs available to create a resume, to do interviews, all of these different things in order to get you employable.
Those programs still exist. People just, again,
They're not
people have to-
required.
right. So those programs exist. People just have to be willing to do them.
Yep.
Or we need to require them. And require is where I would fall on things. Michael says, we open the odd and pay for staffing through ARPA money. We will find out how many are really homeless and how many like the free hotel. Put the money where your mouth is. Sick and tired of hearing people complain, but not willing to take the political hit to do something unpopular.
I don't disagree with you, counselor. And you and I talked about it. And I honestly, I'm going to bring that motion to the table on when we meet next. Because at the very least, we can make that motion, have the discussion. And if it dies, it dies. If it continues, it's an opportunity. And nobody wants to feel comfortable at the odd. I mean, the odd's not comfortable, bottom line.
No. But
So-
we want it to be.
We
And that's
do.
what this city is working toured, and there was a grant, and there's, the upgrades and the air conditioning and so, that's what we're working toward, is for the Odd to be a really nice place that can house really good events. And even though I understand what he's saying, that makes me cringe a little bit, because I want that to be. It was kind of an anchor for the city, I think, at one time, and that has fallen by the wayside. I know that we'll probably never get the farm show back and the sportsman show, and but I would hope that we could maybe do other things, and we could do them, and maybe even on smaller scale, and concerts. And we just the partnership just had recycled percussions here, and we're going to have the upcoming MMA fight, and the open gym days when the kids aren't at school, and that's been huge, and people love that. And what is going to happen to those things? So what are we going to have to give up in return? And so all the people that are trying really hard are the ones that are going to be punished even further for their efforts. I don't know. That's a super hard one. I love you too, Michael, but
I don't know. I don't know. And to me, I don't support the Odd being used as a shelter, because to me, that's not a shelter.
No.
It is an emergency place where if we have a flood or a disaster, it is a temporary solution. It is not a permanent solution. And to me, when we open up the Odd for people, and say, for example, if we were to get 30 individuals, how long do we need to keep them there? What are we putting in place to get them sustainable housing? And I don't know. Nobody has the answers, and I think that was part of yesterday's conversation.
If you build it, they will come, and that's what I feel like we have done, and
Yep.
that's what we continue to do, and that's just not a place that I want to be.
We need to
with
build
it.
houses and not put people at the Odd. To me, when a housing project like Prospect Heights is rejected from the grant process,
Yeah.
when you're talking about 100+ units, and then in the same week, with same 7 days, you're having a press conference with local municipality leaders talking about this huge emergency housing crisis, but yet this Prospect Heights project doesn't meet the align with the state's values. Well, what are the state's values?
So hopefully we're going to hear something from the mayor to understand and know where he stands on the situation. It is your take that throw more money at it and keep.
It's not my take to throw more money at it.
No, your take that was maybe his view of it, that to keep the process going.
Yeah.
That we've already got going. That's not working, and it's still going to come to an end. So, that's just absurd.
There's a lot of work to be done, and I think the bottom line is that when
And
you
we should have
have
been doing it.
people in office, and this is aired out, so I'm going to air it out.
Yeah.
When you have people in office that don't understand about drug addiction or poverty, you can't comprehend it. Bottom line, when you don't or have those experiences, you have no idea. So to be homeless, and to not be homeless, there's a huge difference in what's required. And I think that people need to have the experiences.
Maybe they need to go see a drug and alcohol counselor like I did, so that the counselor could tell them they're being an enabler.
Sure.
I mean, truthfully, that's seriously what I did.
Yep.
I was at the point where I was seeing my own therapist. It wasn't helping. I was feeling like I was up against a wall, and it took meeting with a counselor on a weekly basis that was a drug and alcohol counselor to make me see the other side of the coin.
Sure.
To understand that I was actually a huge contributor to the problem. Okay, I fell for every lie. I need gas, I need food, this happened or that happened, or and I would give the money, or I would give a ride, or I give shelter, do all of these things until somebody literally said to me, "What are you going to do? Could you live with yourself?" This is what she said to me. "Could you live with yourself if you gave your son $40 and he overdosed and died? Could you live with the fact that your $40 killed him?" Changed everything for me.
Sure.
Every little bit it changed for me. And I think this is the same thing. We're letting people just like not physically die, but die. Just we need to find a way to get them to throw down the crutches and decide, I'm going to try. I'm going to try for me and my kids. And, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make it better.
Right.
And the shitty part is that immediately that can't happen because we don't have a place for everyone to go.
Right.
All the buildings are full. But again, why are we trying to figure that out with 15 days to go? And what how much more money? $20 million?
Yeah, I heard around $20 million to fund the program.
So buy the freaking hotels then.
And, that was a conversation piece yesterday, was to talk to the hotel owners and see if they would take a reduced rate. And then the municipality...
Reduced rate? Do you know how many landlords in this freaking city would die to have that kind of money a month for an apartment? These guys are providing a freaking room and they want $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
These hotel owners can go piss up a rope. They are robbing the city, the government, and it's being allowed. It's disgusting.
That is your government spending in a nutshell.
Yeah. You can... they're all going to go out of business anyway, because once they kick everybody out, they're never going to be able to fix their places back to code to be rentable to travelers. Not in my mind.
And
I wouldn't stay at any of them.
Because that was another point that somebody had brought up, was that
no way in hell
what
would
if
I
we give
stay at
them,
any of them.
6 to 8 weeks to just fix up their places, because the comment was that, some of these hotels are very trashed, that have been abused and have not been maintained. And somebody put the comment out there, well, we could give them 6 to 8 weeks or if, figure out a time frame and then to get them back into these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't feel that that's going to make things any better.
No.
So they can trash the rooms again. I mean, I know that when I try to go to stay out of state or somewhere, it's next to impossible to book a room.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had constituents reach out to me concerned because they'd like to have people come stay in the area, but they can't because there's nowhere for them to stay.
Right. We have very few places that do not house now. And so a lot of people are using Airbnbs, campgrounds, for God's sakes, in the summer. When there was a class reunion not too long ago, and people that came were mortified at what was here. I mean, we need places to stay, and so that what we're selling for the city is true, and that people can come here and feel like they can get a nice room and be in the city for some time, enjoy what we have here, the quarries, the places we have to eat, the entertainment, all of the things that we offer that we want to market and shout from the rooftops, but this is not going to help us.
No. It's not going to build the commerce that we want into our community. It's not going to build the persona of our community. And it sucks, as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we want to take care of people, but we also want people to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So where do we draw the line? And that's, I think, kind of where everyone is at, is on, where in the line do we thread that needle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think anybody knows.
Definitely a super tough conversation, and a fine line where you can get in a real lot of trouble for saying things. And
Sure. I do want
but
to
it
make it
just
known, though, if people want to reach out to me, m.deering, m.deering at berrycity.org. I'm always listening to people. I'm pretty good about responding back to emails as well. But if somebody has a solution or a question, I want to know, so we can pass the information along, because we can't get anything done unless we have as many stakeholders.
Now, are you the council liaison
no,
for
ma'am.
the task force? Who
No.
is the liaison for the? Is it
you know,
Teddy?
No, for the homelessness task.
Yes.
I
Or
don't
did
believe
they
the
dissolve?
council has a liaison to that committee.
Okay, I thought they did.
I know
for some reason.
that former councilor Rail was she is the chair of that committee. So I don't believe that there is a council liaison right now. I know that we're in the process of redoing the committee structure, and that at one of our future council meetings, I think it's the next council meeting.
And
that we're gonna
again,
have.
you can weigh in on this. Have a voice. Use your voice. Don't don't just sit back and then be pissed off at what happened.
Reach out to your representatives.
Reach
I mean,
out. Let's
Peter
start
Anthony,
talking
Jonathan
about it.
Williams. You have Ann Watson, Ann Cummings, Anthony Prolchek. Those are our 5 representatives in Montpelier. They represent our city and they represent our county, and they are elected officials, and we need to hold them accountable. That's the bottom line. And I would expect people to hold me accountable as an elected official in Barrie, if there are things that are not going how they like. I mean, that's just how it works.
All right. That is a huge deep breath right there. But it was super good to have you. I really appreciate you deciding that. I called Michael and said, "What are you doing right now?" I was supposed to go live down at Preston's Kia this morning, but a lot going down on down there like crazy.
Yeah.
They are under renovation, moving cars, equipment, this, that, and the other thing. And the dust, because they're also doing work up on Route 2.
Yes.
And the dust was absolutely insane. And I just couldn't do it. I said, no, I cannot do it. Love you guys down there. They're actually reconditioning my car for me today. So I'm super pumped about that. When I get it back, it's going to be all nice and pristine, clean, just like new.
My mom bought
Super
a Kia
excited.
from them.
Yeah, they have some nice looking cars down there. So, and new, just came off the truck, some Celtos and Sorrentos and some of the, what do you want to call them? Hybrids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those, some pretty decent cars down there. And then they do have a couple of used pre-owned trucks, certified pre-owned trucks. So they actually have a real lot on their lot compared to some, and brand new 2024s, not 2022s that they're still trying to sell.
Right.
They actually have 2024s that are out and on the lot. So super cool. So you should check them out. And then I don't know if you heard or not, but we have teamed up with Kingsbury Companies. And on May 19th, right here at the studio, we will be hosting Kingsbury Companies for their hiring event. So they're going to be here doing on-site interviews, hiring from right on the 19th from 6 to 8:30. Music, food, videos. Apply right here. Fill out an application right here.
Can
talk
we put
to
the pie in
somebody right
JD's
here.
face? Can we pie JD?
He's not going to be here.
Oh,
It's going to be
even
just
better.
myself.
Oh, don't tell him I said that.
It's going to be me and the crew, the amazing crew from Kingsbury Company. So they're going to be right here doing a hiring event. And we invite everybody. You know, we've invited the people from the tech center. We've put a bug in the ear of Giroux General Transport for their CDL drivers that just graduated, that will be graduating like in a couple of weeks.
I wonder if any of
To
those
join
are
us,
going to go
because
to GMT.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we invite anybody and everybody. If you're looking for a career, a new career, please join us Friday, May 19th from 6 to 8:30 right here in the studio at 185 North Main Street, Suite 11, directly across the street from Nelson Ace Hardware. We'd love to see you. And then do you know what today is?
Wednesday?
It's Wing Wednesday.
Oh,
You
Gustos,
have to
right?
say
Is it
that
half
right.
off?
Yes, it is
Ugh,
Wing
Don't
Wednesday.
tell my wife.
You buy one small, you get the second small for half off. Any kind. They have several flavors of the best wings ever, in my mind.
I
They are to
agree.
die for. Bone in, boneless, dine in, take out all day, every day, no matter what you're getting.
I'm a big
Yeah.
Gustos fan, not going to lie.
I am too.
Oh,
Not gonna
their
lie either.
wings.
So Wing Wednesday.
I might have to go down there after this.
Yeah. Don't. Cassie will kill you.
Cassie will kill me.
She's listening.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's off with your legs.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yep.
You're done. And then also it is Ladies' Day over at Vermont Quick Lube in Car Wash in South Barry. So all the ladies can go in, oil change, car service, and you get a flower and a car wash
How much?
to thank you
Do you know?
for being. Well, the car wash and the flower is free.
Free, but
For just a thank you. And then it depends on what you're getting
all
done.
right.
Ins-
I'm going to send my wife
inspection,
down to get an oil change.
inspection,
so she's
oil
listening.
change, tire changeover. I mean, they do all of that stuff
do.
there. And so they'd love to see you. And it's Ladies' Day. And so it's the perfect day to go every Wednesday. That's what they do there. And we love them.
All right.
So, yes, send her over.
Yes.
But that still doesn't mean you can go by yourself to get wings.
Yeah.
Just telling you. And don't forget, the Art Splash is out. Come on down. Take a peek. Check it out. Walk up one side, walk down the other, and then do it every day if you want to. Super excited to have people be able to come here to the city and see that's awesome. And we do absolutely have some really amazing businesses and things to do here. And so we encourage you to visit.
Of course we do. I love this place.
Yeah, me too. I really do. So thank you all. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the morning. Hopefully, JD's doing okay. We'll check in